What's going on, guys? We back a little late. Whenever I'm tired, I start late. I gotta get that sleep in. So we got a little bit today. We got Mikey, we got Bo Nickel, we got Bugsy. Um, we got a lot of stuff. So, happy Thursday. I'm not sure what Thursday is. I don't want to say Throwback Thursday. Takedown Thursday. Happy Takedown Thursday. So far, we got Magic Monday, Handsome Tuesday, White Belt Wednesday, Takedown Thursday, um, and we ain't gonna be streaming on Friday, guys. Go enjoy yourselves. You know, enjoy that 4th of July if you guys are in America. So let's just get into the show, man. You know, if people want to jump in, they jump in. Let's just see where I am. There we go. We got Muggsy first thing in the morning. Let's see what he's got to say.
Going to pure shit right now. We got some of the biggest names getting caught up on some fucking weird shit. But y'all still hate me, right? Y'all still hate me, the guy who gives y'all free value, how to make money, how to brand the sport way better. I done helped build the biggest tutorial page in wrestling history. But y'all hate me because I ain't go to college. I ain't got a gold title or whatever. But you got the biggest names in the sport doing dumb shit like that. You got Iowa losing commits. You got Kyle Carter. And y'all don't have a bad eye towards them. Oh, it's fine, dude. Do what y'all do. Y'all got gold. It's good. But Muggsy Boudreaux, he didn't go to college. Fuck that motherfucker.
So that's Muggsy. If you guys don't know Muggsy, he's a social media influencer, wrestling, particularly wrestling content, but he does other stuff too. He'd be marketing too. He actually pretty good marketer. He's very outgoing. He stands out. So he definitely got the youth following, the kids following him. He's got his issues too. I mean, I'm a fan of Muggsy, but he's got his issues. He got a lot of issues actually. That doesn't downplay his addition to wrestling. He's just trying to market wrestling. But he's kind of right. He don't really do much. He's not a good wrestler. I'm sorry. He began taken down by BJJ people. But he hasn't done anything like, Carter Strachey or Kyle Snyder or Braden Davis. They always forget about Braden Davis somehow. I don't know how. But let's listen to that one more time, and then we'll look at the comments too. If it wants to work, come on. Come on, Muggsy.
Y'all see how wrestling is going to pure shit right now? We got some of the biggest names getting caught up on some fucking weird shit. But y'all still hate me, right? Y'all still hate me, the guy who gives y'all free value, how to make money, how to brand the sport way better. I done helped build the biggest tutorial page in wrestling history. But y'all hate me because I ain't go to college. I ain't got a gold title or whatever. But you got the biggest names in the sport doing dumb shit like that. You got Iowa losing commits. You got Kyle Carter. And y'all don't have a bad eye towards them. Oh, it's fine, dude. Do what y'all do. Y'all got gold. It's good. But Muggsy Boudreaux, he didn't go to college. Fuck that motherfucker. Do y'all see how wrestling is going to pure shit right now? We got some of the biggest.
So people don't like Muggsy because he's not a good wrestler. I'm sorry to say that. He can if you 13 years old, he gonna tear you apart. But if you 14 and a half, 13 and a half or older, he can't wrestle you no more. So that's why people don't like him as much, because he's not good at wrestling. Wrestling, it's not like jiu-jitsu where you just talk some stuff and you don't even have to be good at jiu-jitsu. Just say you're good or create some ecological BS something. People are going to follow you. But in wrestling, there's no BS in wrestling, guys. You got to wrestle. There's no, hey, I'm just coaching. Hey, I'm just doing this or that. No, you got to do everything. You got to be good at wrestling to have a say in wrestling. So I do like that part of wrestling. Because in jiu-jitsu, you get some people that they need to get off social media. They shouldn't be on social media. But they get a say because they're popular. They're funny. They're crazy. Says wrestlers, we got to do better, market better, brand better, lead by example as the world's hardest sport. Pause on that. Um, I mean, the sport of wrestling is growing. It's just we got some bad apples in there, unfortunately, at some like the biggest schools in the country. It says our haters are still fans. The more they talk, the better we do. So that's another wrestling influencer. I've been using the both of you to teach my sons. Love your content. Wish I could send them to you for a week. Don't send your kid. Okay, don't send your kid to Muggsy. Much appreciated. Where are you located? Let's see. We love you. No hate. Muggsy got his followers. Usually they 13. Hey, Bo Bartlett over there. Bo Bartlett, young too. All the young wrestlers, none of the older wrestlers really like Muggsy. Says how much you done for this sport is incredible. Let's keep growing, making it fun. Thank you. I appreciate you. People think that all they have to do is win a title and they will get popular, gain notoriety, and get thousands of fans, followers. At the end of the day, there are thousands that are hoping and doing the same. If I win this title, then I will get popular. You have to build your brand and identity, or else you'll be another state champ, boring wrestler that no one cares or is interested in. So we live in a different age where it's not just about how good you are, it's about marketing yourself, branding yourself. And sometimes that comes off as cringe. I sometimes we don't need to know about people. Some people shouldn't be on the internet, but it's different age. You gotta do a little bit of everything. If you guys watch my show, I'm always telling you you don't have to do what Muggsy does. You don't have to do what Gordon does. You don't have to do what Craig does. You can find your niche. Whatever you like to do. You just find that, and that's how you showcase your personality and your brand. And just don't mess your brand up. Don't tarnish it like some of these guys are doing now. Says Danaher, one of the best jiu-jitsu coaches of the modern era, has never won or competed in a tournament. He has no official record. That is true. You guys love Danaher. I never seen Danaher grapple. I never seen him compete or anything. He gets away with that, and Greg Souders can get away with that. But everybody else, the first thing they ask you is, "Oh, what do you do? What did you win? What did you what did you place as?" Everybody else get kind of torn apart. Says we love you, Muggsy. We need more wrestling YouTubers. Says yes, wrestling builds grit like no other sport, but grit alone isn't enough anymore. You gotta tap and dance. You gotta sing and dance and jump around. You gotta do a lot now. You have to do a lot nowadays. It says, but grit alone isn't enough anymore. We got to show it, share it, build a story around it. People need to feel what it means to wrestle, not just watch it. Let's raise the standard. Let's lead with passion, not just pain. Wrestlers don't just train hard. We are hard. Pause on that. Let's show the world why. So we're getting, I'm not sure about wrestling. They don't really have that many influencers, but in jiu-jitsu, we're getting more, air quotes, influencers. They had some YouTubers on, some YouTubers that did Who's Number One recently. They should not have been on that card. And I was looking at their numbers. I was like, they got less numbers than people on the undercard. So I'm not sure how it's going to work having more influencers in the space. It kind of degrades the show to me. It's cool they can show behind the scenes. I want to see the top level people doing that. I don't want to see the YouTuber with the bottom level the bottom level YouTuber showing everything off, and then they're trying to put them in the match, and I'm like, they shouldn't be out here. They took the spot of somebody that should have been out there. Somebody better that should have been out there on that show. We got Gianni Grippo. He trying to do a match versus Owen Jones. Gianni says, I don't even think the guy even trains. Maybe drills a little bit, sits out a round or two. And then Owen Jones says, easy money. Don't even need to train for you, Grippo. Don't worry. So That might be a good match. Grippo, he getting a little bit older, but he still wants to fight. And Owen Jones, he's the young gun. He hungry. So it should be a good match. It's going to be in Miami, so just expect crazy stuff to happen in Miami. So Miami, if you guys know Wagner Hosha's son, you know the video where the guy was kicking the other guy in the elbow? That's in Miami. So, yeah, if you're in Miami, just watch out, man. Be careful. They might jump you over there. So make sure you take a team with you. You got to fight sports off. That's why they call fight sports. You better have some big people to take out Cyborg and whoever else over there. So that might be pretty cool. We'll see what happens with that. What does Craig have to say?
Sorry guys, I've been super busy on the road, been under the pump. I haven't had a chance to announce the latest CJI competitor. That competitor is going to be Ana Vieira, who'll be competing for $100,000 in the 145-pound women's bracket of the CJI. Ana Vieira, one of the best competitors in the world. Guys, buy your tickets, tune in, live and free on YouTube. Sorry guys, I've been super busy on the road, been under the pump. I haven't had a chance to announce the latest CJI competitor. That competitor is going to be Ana Vieira, who'll be competing for...
Is Craig getting Botox? That's your guy's hero. I don't mind Craig Jones, but it says the next competitor in the 145 women's bracket is Ana Vieira. So I guess Fionn won't be there. Fionn, what's going on, girl? You not competing? So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think we had another Craig Jones video coming out too. Oh, just pictures. Talking about Penn State, Penn State Booster Club. You got Craig Jones with his OnlyFans, and you got Gable Stevenson with his USA Wrestling singlet on. Gable, go back to wrestling, bro. Jason Off and Gable, go back to wrestling, please. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing, man? What are you guys doing, man? Gable, what are you doing, Gable? Go back to wrestling, Gable. For the love of God, go back to wrestling, please. Jiu-jitsu might be infecting wrestling, guys. I'm sorry. We can't control Craig Jones when he starts going. He says going to keep this man busier than Penn State Wrestling PR's department. 59 days until CGI official. He said he will be taken down quicker than Kyle Snyder took his pants off for the undercover. Oh, dang. Penetration State by Pat Downey. I didn't come up with Penetration State, guys. Someone else came up with that. I did, however, come up with Pants Down, Single It Out, though. That was me. And, okay. Pat Downey over there, too. Craig, throw Pat Downey on the show, too, man. He deserved to be on that show.
Knees are leaving. Knees to be underneath. So go ahead and do it again. Yep, and just, that's the problem. You're cold. You're stiff like driftwood, son. All right. You got to be able to.
You're stiff like driftwood, son. Hey.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, that is Kamal Bey. He's like the best Greco wrestler in America. And why you hit that kid with you stiff like driftwood, son? Why you hit him with the old man, the boomer talk? Hit that young man with that boomer talk. He was right, though. That kid's stiff. I can't do none of that. I'm super stiff.
Knees are leaving. Knees to be underneath. So go ahead and do it again. Yep, and just, that's the problem. You're cold. You're stiff like driftwood, son. All right. You got to be able to.
Yeah, I can't do that, Kamal Bey. So that's why Greco's so hard. You can't pause on that. You can't just jump into Greco class. If you ain't got that spinal flexion or whatever that's called, you can't go to Greco class. You over there, you're gonna break your back trying to do that move over there. Yeah, he said he's stiff like driftwood. Dang. Oh man, I better. That's why I'm staying on. I'm over here streaming. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you, Kamal Bey. I don't know if this was true. Wrestling Grind shared it. Said Jordan Hudson, is that the girl right there? Allegedly played a part in preventing top wrestler from enrolling at UNC. So I don't know if that's true. I believe AJ Ferrari is going to Nebraska. So was it Nebraska? I could be wrong. I thought it was Nebraska. I could be wrong. Someone says, I thought he just didn't have the GPA to enroll. So, these wrestlers don't be going to class. They get the degree in Parks and Recreation. What does that mean? I should have got one of those degrees. I read a thing. He was at OSU a while ago. Was he at OSU? I don't think he was. I could be wrong. He was just laughing at Strachey, in my opinion. This guy is unbelievable. All right. Oh, he was at Oklahoma State. This is back when John Smith was there, I believe. Okay, he was at Oklahoma. That's true. I remember now. Okay, I'm not reading that, but he was at Oklahoma State. AJ Ferrari's had his issues. He's jumped around. A lot of these wrestlers stay in trouble. I don't know what else to say. They stay in trouble. We got a dude giving himself cauliflower ear. Don't agree with this. Jesus, that hurts. Guys, don't do this to yourself. This is terrible. Is he a white belt or a blue belt or something? Yeah, that's what you guys be doing, man. You guys be messing around like that.
One of the nicest dudes.
It's got music. We can't play it, but it says jiu-jitsu is universal language. So someone said, can white belts participate in random jiu-jitsu classes in different countries? Yes, you can if you're a white belt. So that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu. You can go basically anywhere. There's a clip of this dude jumping around in Uganda. He was looking for a jiu-jitsu class, and he found one. So, you can find jiu-jitsu. All you need is some mats. You don't need nothing else. And you don't even need your gi if you're doing no gi. Just put your shorts on. You don't need no shoes. Sometimes you don't need a shirt. So you can do jiu-jitsu anywhere, guys. So this is from when Flow Grappling went over to Japan. I like when they do this stuff, but they go for like 3 days, You don't really get a chance to experience the country in 3 days. So you can basically go anywhere, guys. Try to get out your comfort zone. Train a little bit with some new people. If you can't make it out the country, go to a different state. Can't go to a different state, stay in your town. Go to a different open mat or go compete. Talking about tournaments, we got tournament shoes. So there's this page they follow. They kind of find whatever shoes the athletes are wearing. So they got Jal Meow over here with the Balenciagas. I don't know what the price is in reais. I don't know. Can we translate it? He said, dang, my sneakers are a motorcycle here in Brazil. So you could, for the price of his shoes, you could buy a motorcycle. The Brazilians, once they hit America, man, they start making some money. Let's see who else was over there. Gabrielle, she had the Nike PRMs. All right, she and Adidas spikeless. So when they go to America for the tournaments, they be loading up on gear. I mean, like not the bad gear, the clothes, shoes, etc., etc. Got the Air Jordans over here. The Nike Air Max Alphas, all right. They got everybody's shoes on here. Is this an AI that does this? Got the Nike Air Maxes, all righty. If you want to win, you need the Nike Air Maxes. Adidas Campus, okay. Air Jordan, okay. Air Jordan, okay. Puma. Nike Court. All right, Nike taking over there. The Vapor Maxes. All right, I'd be wearing my dirty Rudis shoes. I'd be wearing those things everywhere. The Brazilians like to wear nice shoes when they go compete. Americans, we just wear our beat up shoes, our beat up workout shoes. We ain't trying to get our shoes stolen over there at the tournament. TKO, if you guys don't know, TKO, I think they're the parent company of WWE as well as the UFC. And it says they're looking to move for the headquarters to Las Vegas. So I believe they're in Orlando or somewhere like that. I could be wrong. But that seems like a better move, having the headquarters in Vegas. All the big shows go to Vegas. Probably cheaper in some of the areas to build out there, and you don't have to worry about transportation. Have the headquarters right there next to the venue. That's what the UFC does. They built that Performance Institute, and I believe that's where they do the UFC BJJ at. And then for the bigger events, they just pop over, get on the little van, pop over to the venue, the Mandalay Bay or whatever it's called. It says, with Vince McMahon no longer in WWE, signs point to a major shift. Once the lease is up on WWE's new Stamford headquarters, TKO is reportedly planning to move operations out to Las Vegas. They do have a huge obsession with Vegas. UFC, TKO, whoever else they own. So all their shows going to be in Vegas now. I'm not sure is WWE really popular in the West Coast like that? I mean, some people from the East Coast will travel to Vegas. I don't know what their demographics is. Yeah, all their shows going to be in Vegas. Maybe that might be better. It says it's the money capital of the USA. End of story. They all just money hungry. It says, man, TKO is really trying to ruin WWE. Well, I mean, they're already ruining UFC. Someone said, how does moving their headquarters have any impact on you, the product, or anything else except for where the executives choose to sit down in their offices? The goal of any business is to maximize profits, period. Objective, fact. It's not to be sentimental. These the first people that get laid off. When people talk like that, I'm always wondering what happens when they get laid off from their job. Well, it's company's got a profit. Someone says they're $3 billion in debt. That's why shows have been so close together. Releases have been hard, and they're milking Vegas. Some people saying it's going downhill. You can say the same thing about the UFC. We'll just have to keep our eye on this. We talked about that earlier. We got Muhammad Ali, not the old school Muhammad Ali. We got the Brazilian Muhammad Ali getting ready for his upcoming debut. Can't play that. He's been fighting, he did some boxing. He did a couple amateur matches. I believe I don't know if he's going to UFC or one championship. He's going somewhere. He might be on the Contender Series, something like that. But shout out to him. He was one of the top grapplers for a good bit. Tried to make the transition over to Nogi. Didn't really go too well. I think he lost to Nicky Rod. And then now he's got a school and he's fighting in MMA. So shout out to him. I call him Big Jeff because he looks like my friend Jeff, but bigger. Muhammad Ali was really good back in the day. Hey. He was super good, man. I mean, to have a big person like that jumping on you and taking you down, I mean, that's pretty rare. I don't know any big dudes that are doing stuff like that no more. So he's going to MMA. I don't know, man. I feel like he should come back to jiu-jitsu, but, what do I know?
It's
competition, boy.
I think he just didn't see. He was just looking down and went like, "Oh,
I
really don't know."
I'm like, I mean, CGI. I'm like not really shaking. I'm just walking forward, and maybe we touch.
Maybe we kiss. Well, I'm not really maybe we touch. Maybe a spark. I don't even. Maybe we can. Maybe we lock eyes. I don't know.
If refs are like, it's not mandatory to shake.
People were hating on Asari
because he faked
the hand touch, and then
he didn't see though.
Yeah. So, yeah, we covered that. Asari did the no-shake takedown. Just remember, people going to remember that. So, every match moving forward, if you fight David Asari, don't go for that handshake. He going to fake you out, bro. And, B-Team, shout out to B-Team. I give B-Team some flack, but, they better than a lot of these other places. They better than Penn State. At least they get rid of their creepers, alleged creepers. What's going on, Jason? He says Jao Miao wearing $1,900 shoes to a Brazilian tournament. He had to fight in the tournament and then had to fight to get back to his home turf, like in the movie Warriors. Has he never been to Brazil? He rich now. He live in Jersey City, bro. He ain't Brazilian no more. My man ain't Brazilian no more. He living the good life. He got that money. He need to be careful. Well, hopefully the jiu-jitsu tournament's okay. They won't rob him, but if you think somebody got money at the tournament, I'm going for Jao Miao. He got the Balenciaga on. Nobody at the tournament had Balenciaga on except for him, so he's a target. So, guys, if you go to Brazil, don't wear no fancy stuff. Don't carry a lot of money on you. You definitely gonna get robbed. I don't know what Jao was thinking. He probably, Jao, don't do that no more, bro. David Sassari says, for the last time, not a fake handshake. Bro, don't trust that dude. We got Jasmine Hosha. Just listen to her voice, guys. That's all I'm asking for.
What is up, guys? Big fight announcement. I'm going to be fighting Adele Fornerino on WNO here in Miami on July 25th. So, as a lot of people know, she has a phenomenal closed guard, so I'm going to show you 3 basic techniques to get out of the closed guard. Check it out. Here's the first technique, and did I mention these are a little bit questionable? Let me know what you guys think. So, first one's going to be a can opener. Basic.
Oh, shoot. I didn't even notice the music was in there, guys. I'm sorry. Copyright strike. That voice, man, is crazy. I wish Wagner would learn his lesson. The Wagner Hoshas. I wish the Hoshas would learn their lesson with these supplements, but whatever. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. They don't care. They don't care, so I don't care. So she's gonna have a match versus Adele. Whoever wins. Adele already beat her one time. We'll see if Jasmine can come with something new. I think Adele's just too technical and too, Jasmine's aggressive, but Adele's aggressive, and Adele might break your arm. Jasmine, I don't know what she's gonna get on you. I'm Team Adele for this match. Are they fighting Miami too? Oh, my advice to homegirl, Adele, bring some people with you. You better bring Galval with you. You need Galval, you need Kynan, you need Angelica. You better bring some people with you, Adele. Don't go to Miami thinking you're gonna get out of there unscathed. All right, Adele, this ain't Australia, this is Miami. Miami, they might mess you up over there. Jasmine gonna be fighting dirty. So Adele, you better be ready, girl.
Much time cleaning the mats, and what is this process?
I spent a lot of time cleaning the mats because the only thing, in my opinion, worse than an injury would be an infection. And the process I follow is first I vacuum everything up, get all the skin and hair particles off. Then I spray the mat down in a solution that consists of Dollar Mat Attack, which is made for wrestling and jiu-jitsu mats. Add a little bit of tea tree oil, a little bit of Simple Green. Let that sit for 3 to 5 minutes. And then I wipe it down in both directions with a clean microfiber mop.
Coach Jake, why do you spend so much time cleaning the mats, and what is this process?
I spend a lot of time cleaning the mats because the only thing, in my opinion, worse than an injury would be an infection. And the process I follow is first
Yeah, guys, cleaning the mats super important. Make sure you clean the mats. Every time there's some sweat on there, make sure you use a clean mop head. Just the bare minimum, and make sure your students are showering. And if they have any skin infections, okay, you got to sit out. You got to develop a culture where people, I got something on my skin. I'll sit out for a couple days. Kind of hard at some of those bigger schools. So many people, or the more professional schools, people got super fights and whatever tournaments to prepare for. But you got to create that environment where people can, oh man, I think I got something. I'm gonna go to the doctor. I'm gonna sit out. Look at Ben Askren. Shoot, I won't get a lung. I'm gonna be honest with you. They won't give me a lung. They'll give Ben Askren a lung, but they won't give me one. And even Ben Askren barely got that lung. He had to be healthy enough to get it, and then the insurance issue with the insurance. Someone says, why don't people use ozone and UVC lights to destroy everything? You still need to clean. You need some chemical to clean that stuff, bro. He said, why don't you clean the walls? And who cleaning their walls like that all the time? I mean, I'll spray a little bit on the matted walls, but I don't think you need to. Well, you need to clean the pads too. Clean everything, guys. Clean your belt, clean your gis. Someone said half-life can vary depending on setting. Better than putting chemical cleaners on the match that people now roll around. Bro, shut up, bro. Get out of here. What do you know? This troll over here. Clean your mats, guys.
Coach Jake, why do you
clean your mats? Don't listen to these trolls out here. Clean your mats. And you don't clean the mats before people. You don't clean the mats right before people roll on them. You clean them after, or you give some time for the mats to dry. This guy, I don't know who this dude is. Mop your mats, guys. Yeah, my man said ozone. Clean your mats, guys. I'm getting pissed off. We had a video of Charles Oliveira. I think you guys seen this video, but he was trying to do the ankle lock on a guy with a prosthetic leg. Not the smartest guy in the world over here. He should have. It's a skit. It's a skit though. Older video, but it's still funny. Talking about wrestling, we got the Hawkeyes. They said Tom Brands has good things to say about Keisuke Otoguro, his work ethic, and having him around the team. So a lot of cross training between the Japanese and the Americans. I'm for it. I love the cross training. It says he is very engaged in what we do, said Brands. We are fortunate to have him with us because of how engaged he is. His language improved very quickly. I don't know. Maybe Otoguro really likes the Hawkeye training methodology. We'll see if the Japanese athletes survive it. So we'll see. Not too many people going to the Hawkeyes. They got to call in the Japanese recruits. PGF, we got some news from them. Says they're announcing their season 8 draft results. So if you don't know, you usually have like a team leader. It could be like Andrew Varela or Canuto or someone, Drysdale. and then they pick teams. I don't know who this old dude is. It says in preparation for the new. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. In preparation for the new 13-week season format, a strategic and exciting live draft resulted in the creation of 4 new teams who will compete for the PGF World Championship. The Professional Grappling Federation, PGF, the world's fastest paced grappling format, and a driving force in the evolution of modern jiu-jitsu, today announced the results of Season 8 draft. Streamed live on YouTube. I didn't see that. Probably won't cover that because, I don't know. I don't want to get hit with no copyright strike. As the league grows closer to the debut of their new 13-week season, 4 legendary coaches have bid on and selected their respective teams who will compete for the $150,000 prize pool. I don't know. Is that worth the $150,000? The 13 weeks? How many people are on the teams? So you got to split that $150,000, right? Is that $2,000 for everybody? Says the top talent secured. The New Hope Kings with coach Robert Drysdale set PGF draft record per athlete bid when they secured Jet Thompson for $7,700. These bids are pretty low. Is that all these athletes are worth? $7,000. It says Mika Sipili, Sipili, I'm gonna keep it that way, made waves, investing heavily to secure young gun jiu-jitsu JJ Bowers for $6,600. Other major moves include Rafael Ferreira and Christos Papadelos. Who's on this show? Who's on this show? The highest bid was Jet Thompson. Well, I definitely couldn't do this show if somebody bid it on me. My history, we ain't got the best history with bidding. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'll leave that to you dudes out there getting bidded on. It says bargain steals. He said Dom Lobo $1,000. Yo, I get out there. We'll give you $500 for Alec. 500. Yo, I can't do that. My ancestors wouldn't look upon that very, very happily. London Elmore $1,600. Matt Mash $2,500. Says the finalized teams. You have coaches Andy Varela, Robert Drysdale, Mika Sipili, and Robert Drysdale. Didn't they say right? They put Robert Drysdale on there twice. They meant to say they messed up the dude's name. It's Andy Varela, Robert Drysdale, Mika Capelli, and Hinato Canuto. Assembled a high caliber roster for the competition. So this ain't what kind of draft is this? CJ Murdoch, he only got $1,000, $1,100. Brady. Brady got $1,500. Let me say this to Jeff. This is one of Jeff's old students. That's crazy. Nobody really worth anything on this show. So there's 4 people on a team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's $30,000 if your team wins at the end of the day? I mean, it's not terrible, but that's not. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with PGF. I don't know what they got. They got some scrubs on there. I'm sorry, PGF. PGF got some scrubs on there. I mean, they got some dudes on there for $1,000. I'll be insulted. $1,000. Sorry, Alec. Your social media is not that good no more. We're gonna give you $500. They put me on there for $500. I'll be embarrassed. Go ahead and take my name off the show. God, dog. They should do UFC BJJ. UFC BJJ better than that. I'm sorry, PGF. UFC BJJ better than that. Okay, Jason says each team has a salary cap of $10,000, so the bid 70% on one athlete is high. Well, Jet Thompson is good. I know of him. He's one like main character and some other stuff. But I actually know some of these guys on here. Some of these guys ain't real competitors. I'm going to give it a hard time, Jason Whitfield. Jason Whitfield, he a different voice of reason. They should have tried out for UFC BJJ though. That's what. But maybe I'm sorry, PGF. I'm sorry. But didn't Andy Varela just fight on PGF? It is or UFC BJJ, and didn't Hinato Kanuto? Isn't he trying to fight on? All right, let me just shut up. But shout out to the athletes making their name for themselves. Even if you only got $1,000, you go out there and do your thing. Maybe you could beat the dude that got the $7,000. And if they win that team title, that's $30,000. That's not bad. But it's for 13 weeks. How many weeks is it? What's that work out to, Jason Whitfield? That's about $2,300 a week if you win. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You might as well start streaming at that point. You can make that. You're gonna make that money faster streaming than fighting. Tell them boys to go stream. It says PGF auction draft gives each coach $1,500. Oh, they get $1,500. Jason Whitfield. So it's not quite 70%, right? That's about half though. What's half of 15? 7.5? Almost half, yeah. It says to build a 5-man starting team, bidding is open, requiring a strategic balance between marquee talent and depth. Season 8 streams live every Wednesday from July 23rd to August 20th on YouTube. Alrighty, so we'll see how that goes. It's the first iteration of the team format, I think. They're working on it. It's better than nothing, You could always say, well, Alec, you don't have your own show. That's true. I don't have any skin in the game like that. So that's true. I can't hate too much. Talking about different organizations, we got Bo Nickel. He's going to return to wrestling as he signs with Real American Freestyle. So I'm hoping they make a little bit more money with the Real American Freestyle than they doing at PGF. I'm sorry. Bo Nickel, one of the most decorated wrestlers ever to step on into the. Is he one of the most decorated wrestlers? I mean, you had some really good wrestlers in MMA. I guess if you're an NCAA wrestler, he won a couple times, right? So yeah, he is one of the most decorated wrestlers. Is officially expanding his competitive horizons. Promotional officials confirmed to MMA Fighting that the UFC middleweight has signed with the newly launched Real American Freestyle. I guess they had to replace Ben Askren because he's not wrestling no more. While continuing his career in the UFC, RAF is spearheaded by a trio of notable names: professional wrestling icon Hulk Hogan, former WCW senior VP Eric Bischoff, and respected wrestling coach Izzy Martinez. Together, they're aiming to revitalize professional wrestling through elite freestyle matches, and Bo Nickel is front row and center in that mission. Bo Nickel is a tremendous athlete. I gotta refresh that. Bo Nickel is a tremendous athlete and one of the most accomplished wrestlers on the planet. In America, not on the planet. Nickel immediately elevates the RAF roster to new heights with his competitiveness and experience. When fans attend the RAF event, they know they're going to see the best of the best on the mat. It says, Nickel's resume speaks for itself. A 3-time NCAA Division I national champion and 2019 Dan Hodge Trophy winner. He's made a seamless move into MMA after a 31-second knockout. That's true. Says with his entrance into the RAF, Real American Freestyle, he's set to continue building his legacy on both the mat and in the cage. representing a rare modern example of elite crossover between amateur wrestling and professional fighting. So shout out to Bo Nickel. I know some of you guys not the biggest fan of Bo Nickel, but he's okay. Jason Whitfield says the big issue with PGF is the injuries. They have to fight so often that it was more survival of the fittest, not the best team. That's true. So before, I believe it was like a week or two. Now it's 13 weeks. I feel like you got to give them a little bit more money for that 13 weeks. Maybe they do get some stipend or something. 13 weeks, you're not making money. You can't do other tournaments. You can't do seminars. I'm assuming you're stuck in the fighter house basically. That's why I'm saying these guys need to stream or something, bro. There's some easier ways to make money, guys. You over here getting your leg destroyed. You remember, was it David Cesare got his leg destroyed like in several matches over there? And some of the other guys, Adam Bradley got his leg destroyed. I'm sorry, but $30,000. I don't want my ACL getting destroyed for no $30,000, if that, or no money. Jason Off said, "Let's go." Is Jason Off going to jump in there? Wouldn't this take away from improving other aspects of your skills like striking? Oh, that makes too much sense, bro. You too smart. I imagine he's still going to make time for striking, but it's still going to be bad. I just hope it improves by some margin. Well, how are you going to be striking training, doing his strike training if he's over there wrestling? Someone said he has to win in something. That loss shook his soul. Just like losing the Olympic trials, he went MIA and rebranded to MMA. Yeah, we don't know. We'll see how he does. I don't care about this topic. All right, we got a little bit of news on Mikey. If you clicked on it, if you clicked on the thumbnail, we got Mikey on the thumbnail. So it says Mikey responds to criticisms of him ducking competition and only looking for easy matches. So guys, I got to read all this stuff. So be sure to like this video or something. I got to read Mikey's post, bro. Look at all this. Look at all that stuff over there. Someone said reading that is like watching his De La Riva instructional. So they don't really like Mikey on Reddit. I don't know why. And this topic has come up a couple times. It says 3 months, 6 days, 1 month ago. So let's read. This is Mikey Musumeci. Hey, Darth Frigatoni. I'm so sick of you guys saying I'm looking for easy matches. Right before moving to Asia, you are looking for easy matches. What are you talking about? You just fought a dude that didn't do no-gi. The guy started no-gi last week. I was supposed to headline a card with versus Gio, and then my grandma. Oh, okay. Didn't know about that. He said his grandmother died, and I wasn't able to do the match. So Gio did a whole camp for no reason for that. This year, March, so that was 2022, he did that. This year, March and May, we were supposed to finally do the match, and both matches were canceled as well. Why were they canceled? Why were they canceled, Mikey? Mikey, why did you do the show without Gio Martinez in it? Let's see if he addresses that. He didn't say why they were canceled. He says both matches were canceled, so Gio did camps and all this training for matches that didn't happen. Was that fair to him? That's why I gave him my word we would do the match 100% the second I got the belt. Now let's talk about my matches the past few years. First of all, I'm not on supplements and can't compete every week. I get super ill and injured when I attempt to. In 2021, I started competing in no-gi, essentially winning the Who's Number 1 belt. And also, I won my 4th black belt world title, beating Bruno Malfacine in the finals. I then ended up moving to Asia and signing with One Championship with the goal of growing jiu-jitsu to another audience outside the jiu-jitsu world. My first match in Asia ever, I got to compete with an idol of mine and Japanese legend Imanari. Why were you fighting Imanari? He old. It was such an honor to do so. And in his continent. Is Asia a continent? It's Asia. Japan's an island, so he is Asia a continent, guys? Several continents in Asia, but what do I know? I don't know geography. Guys, make sure you're liking this video. If I gotta read this mess. It was such an honor to do so, and we were the most viewed match in one championship history for grappling still to this date. So we helped grow our sport to more people. We got more views. Okay, all right, Mikey. Mikey, poor Mikey. I then suffered from appendicitis and needed an emergency appendectomy, taking me out of doing ADCC that year, which you guys gave me hate for. But still earlier, he agreed to fight Kleber Souza, a guy I lost to in the past, for my first time in my weight class in one championship. I was walking around 130 to 128 week of for this match. Definitely perfect size for vitamin powered 170 pound ADCC people cutting to 145. After I won the belt, I had to wait until January to compete again. One couldn't get any matches for me in those months. That's why we're saying you're ducking, bro. You ran off the one championship. And it was against the current world champion in combat sambo, just like Cade and Daniel Kelly did as well. And that match was the second most viewed match in one history. The Mongolian guy that wouldn't tap to the heel hook. After this match, I fought the current rooster weight IBJJF world champion at the time, Osama. Who was that guy? Because he had just won Black Belt Worlds. Who was that guy? Then we tried for months to get me matches with opponents. Pato couldn't make 135. Taliesin didn't accept. We tried multiple times. Lucas Pinero didn't accept, so I was with no opponents. So who accepted were MMA fighters. And I just wanted to fight and do matches at that point. And my goal was to grow our sport. Mikey, don't put growing the sport on. You keep using that as a cover, bro. You did those matches. You signed up for one championship. You did those matches. Don't put it as he's trying to like make excuses. It's just I don't know. Just say you were ducking, bro. just say you were ducking, bro. I mean, he was all the way over in Asia. So if you wanted to fight Mikey, it was completely unfair. You had to fly probably the day before you fly in. You jet lagged. You got to cut weight. And then you fight Mikey. Everything was geared towards helping Mikey win. And I don't know if you guys ever watched the Apprentice episode, the series they did on the Apprentice with Mikey. It was, one championship did it for Chaudhary. But like everybody, the whole show was geared towards Mikey. Which it made no sense. I couldn't even finish the whole series. But everything is geared towards Mikey. Even UFC BJJ is geared towards Mikey. He's fighting guys, no no-gi experience. And then he gets upset when people say he's ducking people, which is true. He hasn't fought anybody that we were like really wanted to see him fight. He didn't do any of the tournaments that, he stopped doing the tournaments where he would get challenged. He can keep saying, well, one championship picked my opponents. UFC picked my opponents. I mean, don't you have some say in some of this stuff? So I just don't believe what Mikey's saying. I'm sorry. I don't believe any of it. And of course, these guys, they don't want to. You're at a complete disadvantage. You fly in. One championship flies you in the night before to Asia. You definitely jet lagged. You got to cut weight. Fight Mikey. You don't know what's going on. You're completely out of your element. You fight Mikey, and then you're not going to do well because you're just out of your element. So just like it wasn't a good deal. So he's fighting MMA fighters, and I wanted to fight and do matches at this point. My goal was to grow the sport to larger audiences. I don't know if it actually, it's kind of hard to measure if it did gain a bigger audience or not. So I fought Jared Brooks and then Shinya Aoki. So he shouldn't have been Shinya Aoki, like 30, my age. He's 38 years old, maybe older. And both matches also did really well with viewership. Does viewership grow the sport? He keeps using these numbers, the viewership. I don't know. I don't know if that actually means anything. Instead of being mad at me for trying to grow our sport, he keeps saying that, so I don't believe it's true. Why would you give me some recognition? Why don't you guys give me some recognition? Give me recognition. I'm doing all this for you. Mike, you did that for yourself, bro. This is why they ran him off Reddit. Sorry, I got to frog my voice, guys. You know, doing live streams every day for 2 hours will take your voice out. Says, why don't you guys give me some recognition? I think I was doing a great job. Then immediately after Shinya, I asked Chaudhary, I want to fight the best people possible. Like, go on death row, so they set up both ADCC champions Baby Shark and Cade back to back. That sounds like I'm backing down for matches. Then Baby Shark canceled the match about 4 times because he sent them all the steroids he's on. Oh, I meant to say vitamins. What are you on, Baby Shark? And I offered to do the match no drug testing. Then he fought Who's Number One instead of fighting me in the agreed month that he was supposed to. Anyways, then I begged for Gabriel Souza because I couldn't fight Baby Shark. I wanted the challenge. Gabriel said he couldn't make 135, so I moved up and fought him at 145. Our first match when I was sick with COVID was 155. Why were you fighting with COVID, Mikey? For reference, Cade gets injured and pulls out. Then I try to fight current world champion Babito at the time. I ripped my lung. How did he rip his lung? I ripped my lung essentially from high elevation breathing training I was doing and Hickson breathing now. I'm out again. My first debut match in UFC, I begged for Baby Shark again, but now he says he's exclusive to one and can't fight me. Well, Mikey, you're the one that started the one championship grappling. So I agree to Felipe Machado, who just defeated Juni. Just to put into his perspective, he is good at 135. But the overtraining those months for Baby Shark, again, I'm not on Jesus Christ. I'm not on supplements. It's not sustainable for me to be in camp killing myself many months and then be told I will be fighting this person every month, then changed again. Led to my body deteriorating. I still have 3 stomach ulcers. Been doing so much PT since that time just to get my body healthy again. After killing it, wanting to fight the best person, Baby Shark, I accepted the Ultimate Fighter show to fight with Gordon and then Craig, but both were unable to do so. So let me ask you, if I accepted to compete with Baby Shark 6 times, Cade, Gordon, and Craig, how do I run from anyone? Hope this helps people understand my perspective. I can't change if you guys hate me, but just know I'm doing the best I can and working to change our sport so we have drug testing and more of a better situation. I don't know, man. I don't really believe what Mikey's saying, but maybe you guys can believe for me. You guys believe Mikey for me. Said a lot of factors that were outside of his control, and I think a lot of people like the way he approached coaching in the UFC BJJ. That said, I'd imagine a lot of the criticism resurfaced due to the way he approached his match. Going against a gi guy, instead of showcasing BJJ, he took the easy route by hopping in and basically attacking the legs from the get-go, knowing full well he could have won and demonstrated other elements of his game. He doesn't have other elements of his game. And he does have other elements, but he doesn't trust those elements. He could have done so in a way that general audience he talks about expanding to can follow along, but he took the easy route. Compare his match with the likes of Gordon, Marcelo, even Craig, and the vibe just isn't there. Yeah, that's right. You know, Mikey keeps saying he's going to grow the sport, but I mean, I actually don't mind Mikey's style, but his style is not geared towards growing the sport. It's geared towards winning. So you could say, in effect, that Mikey, his style limits him in growing the sport. That probably hinders the sport more than grows the sport. So I don't know what to say. You know, if Mikey would have to go out there and wrestle and take people down and pass the guard to grow the sport, But I don't think he can do that stuff. I enjoyed his match against Souza, but my point is more around what he says about audience building, and because it's a cover, it's an excuse. Well, someone said I enjoy watching Musumeci matches a lot more than Jones or Gordon. Vibe is so much better. And then the other guy says, what he says about audience building and being the headliner of UFC BJJ and then doing what he did in that match. He made a big statement about how BJJ being ultra violent and then goes out hopping, hoping, and then goes out hopping. He was hopping for a little bit, nor did he really pursue non-leg entanglements, even when he had a good front headlock. He's autistic, bro. He's hyper focused on getting the legs. Yeah, I don't know, man. You guys could say I'm negative. I try to do my part to make jiu-jitsu entertaining. It's tough though. So Mikey's trying to do the match against Gio again. I don't know. They're probably gonna cancel it. Gio's almost 40. Mikey ain't fighting nobody young. Well, Harrison was young, but he didn't do no nogi. Mikey need to fight just young people. He need to fight Owen Jones. He need to fight all those young people. You know, Baby Shark and all these other guys. Why doesn't he just do ADCC? Mikey, just do ADCC. He's complaining that they cut weight. Mikey, you cut weight too. I just don't want to hear no excuses, man. I don't want to hear no excuses. Someone says he's avoiding all the good 66-kilogram competitors. People act like he's too small, but he'd have to cut to make 66. He hasn't fought top competition for years. What bugs me more is that he doesn't even try to put on a show. He will just play to the strongest part of his game. It said the UFC contract's locking you out of ADCC. That's what Mikey wants. He wants to be locked out of ADCC. And CGI is pretty unappealing for many top grapplers. It's likely going to be the Mikey show for a few years unless they relax those restrictions. Why doesn't Mikey just say, hey, I want to make money. I don't want to fight these other tough guys that are possibly on supplements. Just say that, Mikey. Okay, problem solved. Says DeAndre Corbry looks good too, in my opinion. He beat Pata the last time they fought by points or something. Decision. He's too big. True, but Mikey has a scheduled match with Cade, or he did have one. Okay, that was Mikey. That was the post Mikey made. I'm a Mikey zealot, but I'm with you for real. I believe he's the best in the world by a wide margin, and I wish he would prove it. He's proven it before, but we still want him to continue proving it. I'd like to think other top guys are ducking him, but there's really nobody in the top 10 in 135 or 145 that wants to fight him. Nobody better than Gio. Mikey needs to go where those people are. So Mikey, he keeps trying to bring people. It's not fair because Mikey, he creates these kind of moats, these barriers. So if you want to fight Mikey, you got to go over to Asia. You got to get through UFC to fight him. You can't just, Mikey. Jason says, Reddit is more for people like Craig and Gordon. Reddit is the valley of the wolves, and Mikey is a lamb. That is true. So when Mikey writes things like this, all the viewers see is lamb chops. Yep, that's what I see too. That's the thing though. Like, if he's really that dominant, then yeah. Where are all the killers lining up? Either everyone's scared or his team being way too selective. Well, he's not doing the tournaments where all the top people are. He's trying to create these moats and then pull people, pick and choose who comes through. I think Mikey needs to do ADCC. He needs to do IBJJF if he wants to fight the best people in his weight class. But that's not going to happen. He's gonna stay in UFC BJJ and continue to get those checks and not fight the best people in the world. So it is what it is. Someone says I'm a hardcore Mikey fan. I just want to see him compete versus the best in the world while he's still in his prime. That's the thing though. Like if he's really that dominant, okay, I read that. I get Pato and Diogo might be protecting their brand, but what about the less established guys? There are certainly competitors that want a shot and are deserving. Someone says, I don't think Pato's dodging anyone. He moved up in weight to compete against Dante Leon at who's number one, who's significantly bigger. Between Mikey and Pato, I gotta say, Pato's been fighting tougher people. He will go up a weight class. Well, you could say he's got some help to do that, but he goes up and fights whoever. Mikey isn't competing anywhere they want to be. Calling him out does nothing for them. Pato isn't protecting anything. He wants to have the freedom to keep doing ADCC, IBJF Worlds, who's number one, etc. Instead of locking himself into a situation where he just competes 3 times a year against subpar opposition like Mikey has. Mikey doesn't really have a something to say against that. He doesn't have anything to say. He's going to keep saying, "Oh, I'm trying to grow the sport by not fighting the best people in the world." I'm going to continue to grow the sport by grabbing feet and not doing takedowns, not doing any type of jiu-jitsu that people want to see. If Mikey really were top 10 in the world, then he would bulk up. Any world level heavyweight would give him a hard match. Oh, well, why are you saying that? That was stupid. It says, happy to see Gio get a nice payday potentially. Mikey's only gotten better since their match, and Gio is on the wrong side of 35. Think this is even more one-sided than... No, there's no way it's more one-sided than Harrison. Harrison didn't know any no-gi. It says more like someone he was supposed to fight but canceled to do UFC show. Regardless of how anyone feels about Gio, that's a pretty bad thing to do. Well, Gio didn't cancel the match. Why didn't he? I don't know. I don't want to try to get into Mikey's brain. I don't want to. There's a lot of people for Mikey to fight. It's just they're not putting the energy into it. It's I don't know what to say. I mean, the results say that Mikey is ducking people. He keeps going to these organizations where he doesn't fight the best people. So to me, that's ducking. Says unbelievably lame. Give me Joseph Chin. Actually see somebody able to pass his guard. Says I don't think Mikey is ducking anyone. Well, we're not saying back in the day. We're saying now. Dude fought whoever turned up on the IBJF circuit for years on end. We're just seeing the effects of exclusive contracts in real time. And nobody told Mikey to sign those exclusive contracts. He's been signed to one and UFC for several years. Mikey, the one that signed those things, and he's been the golden boy for both of them. Firstly, they're going to try to protect that, and they wouldn't want someone to compete against him without also signing an exclusive contract. Some guys aren't willing to do that, particularly because they're probably not offering them the best terms imaginable. Secondly, he's been pretty consistently competing 135. I'm not sure Diogo or Pato could comfortably make that weight. They rightfully might not want to compete at that, whereas Mikey rightfully might not want to compete above. And then the other major factor is fighter pay. Yes, Mikey could go do ADCC, but you really expect him to not get paid to compete unless he wins 4 matches and makes $10K. Then he's been getting $50K just as a bonus for most matches at one. That's not ducking ADCC. That's just like you don't say Gordon is ducking EBI. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. Here's a good one. This is kind of hit close to home. It says, why can't men wear a rash guard at IBJJF? Yeah, why can't we? It says, this doesn't apply to me, but why do men have no choice of wearing a rash guard? I feel like we should be able to. I think that we should be able to wear one. They can't wear a rash guard or shorts underneath their gi. Obviously, spats. I want to wear some spats. Obviously, I know why women can, but I'm studying the rules test and saw this come up. I thought it was a bit weird because if there's a can't say that part. I think it's a desire to keep everything uniform, i.e., they don't want some men wearing rash guards. Well, just make it black. Just tell them to wear black rash guards and black spats. What's the issue? Wearing rash guards and other men not wearing one for aesthetic reasons. This is solved for women by requiring everyone to wear one, but they don't want to institute a similar rule for men because it would be too big a change for how things have previously been done. Yeah, women have to wear. Of course they got to wear something, bro. Get out of here. Use your brains, guys. Come on. Says IBJF leaders like hairy nips. That might be true. That might be the actual reason. Says not sure, but I think the gi with no rash guard underneath has way more aura than gi with a rash guard underneath. Actually, I do want to wear a rash guard. Let us wear a rash guard. Says you can't wear one in judo, so that's why. Actually, you can wear rash guards in judo. Can someone check that for me? I believe you can. Your finger will not get snagged in a rash guard, man. Probably just to follow IJF. They do everything. Well, IJF is a real federation. BJJF is a for-profit company. So I wish they would change that rule. We've got news. Arma BJJ, which is Fion School in London, is set to open July 14th. 14th of July. Uh-oh. Guys, go book your tickets. Says went to the gym. Oh, uh-oh. Says went to the gym at the weekend. It still looks like it needs a lot. It still looks like a lot needs to be done. I think they are just waiting on. It says August 1st is the real opening date. So scratch that. Not the 14th of July. It's the 1st of August. So if you're in the UK, you want to train with Fion, go to Arma. Don't be a creep, though. We talked about Bo Nickel. Someone says, I'm curious what others' thoughts are on this. I'm excited for both leagues, but I think competing leagues, there's two leagues, Claw and RAF. We talked about both. Real American Freestyle versus Champions League American Wrestling. Are two leagues really better than one? Well, they got different owners, so. I think competing leagues could divide the audience and leave both organizations underperforming. I think both have great ideas, with RAF seemingly more of a UFC-style individualized league, and Claw being a league of dual teams. So this kind of reminds me, this is like, you have like UFC BJJ, well, you got RAF, and then you got PGF, which is more like Claw. Still, as someone who wants to grow the sport, I worry about them overlapping, resulting in fewer viewers for both. I haven't seen much discussion on this topic, so I wasn't sure if I was the only one questioning it. Thoughts? I don't know. We just gotta see. We just gotta watch and see. RAF. I don't really know much about RAF, but with Real American, with Claw, they actually had the rules. They did like exhibition matches, so you could see how the rules play out. I think Claw might be more exciting because it combines freestyle with Greco and folk style, whereas RAF is going to be a take on freestyle rules. So we just don't know what's going to happen. It says with NCAA abandoning the amateur model, isn't that a professional league too? Yeah, technically NCAA is a professional league. I think there is enough wrestling off-season that two leagues would be somewhat feasible. The issue is there is not enough top talent to draw eyes to both promotions. So RAF got a lot of talent and Claw has a lot of talent. And it seems like RAF is getting the bigger names. I have talked a lot about how I think Claw's unique rule set will be the biggest downfall. I was excited that RAF seemingly would just be freestyle, but I heard Willie talking on the podcast about how they are testing out rules. If a wrestling league is going to thrive, you have to capture as much of the existing wrestling fan base that exists. The more unique rules you have, the fewer fans of folk style and freestyle are going to come over because they don't want to learn an entirely new set of rules. Says the only people that are going to watch this are the wrestling fans. If you change the rules, it's not wrestling anymore. You created a new hybrid sport with no existing fan base. So instead, Claw's rule set is goofy. I can't stand the pylon rule. Some people don't like the Claw rule set. I'm sure I'm in the minority here, but if we're gonna go pro wrestling league, I don't want a freestyle league. I want folk style. Claw is close, but not quite. Well, most of the world, I'm not sure what. Freestyle is the top style. Folk style not in the Olympics. Now in America, folk style is popular, but nobody else knows the rule sets, so you're gonna limit yourself if you stick to just folk style. I would definitely prefer folk style league too, but feels like beggars can't be choosers situation. Well, your sport definitely ain't gonna grow if it's folk style. Or you just have it be a countrywide sport. It says, plus, as someone else pointed out, the top guys wrestle freestyle. What about the rest of the field? College wrestling, and that's it. You want to compete freestyle and fight for a world national team spot, by all means do so. But for those who don't make the cut, they have a new avenue. Plus, they're already pretty good in their own rights. Both of them follow the UFC model, which is atrocious. I won't support either. It sounds like me. That wasn't me though, guys. I think individual UFC style matchmaking sucks and duels isn't much better. They should have 10 weight classes. They should have 10 weight classes, and each event highlights 2 of them in an 8-man tournament. The finalists would have 3 matches that night. There would be a total of 18 matches for the whole event. That's too much, bro. That's too much. So, we just got to watch and see. I believe Claw starts the 21st of July, so like 2 weeks from now. So maybe we can see what's going on with that. I do want to see. Let me come back out of here. YouTube. Can we check on PGF? I didn't know they had that. PGF. What's it called? Draft. Oh, they did have their draft. Oh, Grappling Hour did a little video on that too.
We are here at a secret location, and the most loved man in jiu-jitsu is about to join me. It is
Brandon McCatherine the most loved man in jiu-jitsu? Shout out to Alex. She doing it, man. Jason Whitfield says both male and female judo athletes are allowed to wear rash guards and t-shirts under their gis. All right, IBJF, just copy that then. I don't know if you guys noticed, but IBJJF just copies whatever UFC or what IJF does. So hopefully we can wear a rash guard on. Some of us out of shape. We're not gonna play the video, guys. We're just gonna kind of skim through. So they got the draft. You got to wear your t-shirt. You get your $1,000. Do they get the money, Jason Whitfield? Does the money go to the athletes? Is that how that works? You got some of your, you got Andy Barella, you got Canuto over there. I mean, Jet Thompson might be able to beat some of those guys.
and on to Team New Hope Regeneration, who was the winners of last season.
Mm-hmm. I'm stoked for this. 7,700 is a lot of money. I don't think we've ever had that much money before. So.
Does the money go to them? If that money does go to them, that's not bad. For the 7 weeks, you get the $7,000. 13 weeks, what's 13 divided by 7? Oh, no, what's 7,000 divided by 13? About $500 a week to be on that show. That's not minimum wage, is it? Shout out to these guys out here.
Of PGF, you've experienced the gauntlet in the weak form.
Vegas, what are you going to be doing with that 7,700 of cold hard cash?
I don't even know yet.
My man, he ain't ever had $7,000.
I might fix my car. The check engine light's been on for a while, so probably get that fixed when I get back to Oklahoma.
God, dog, bro, it's rough out here, man. So it's crazy. You got people like Mikey making $50,000 an event, a match, and you got dude over here. He ain't fought yet, but he happy for the $7,000. So, our sport is not in a good place. It's all over the place. Actually, you can make $1 million. You can make $100. So that's kind of where the sport is right now. So if you guys want to watch that, that's the official 2025 PJF World Draft. So we're not going to watch the rest of that, copyright strike and all that. Let's listen to Jiu-Jitsu. Hopefully Jiu-Jitsu is cool. He doesn't hit me with the copyright strike either.
The UFC BJJ show just ended, and was just sort of processing my thoughts, and I figured I'd share with you guys. And I'm curious, what the jiu-jitsu world thinks of the UFC's inaugural jiu-jitsu show. Obviously, they have the Fight Pass, but this is their first time doing the UFC BJJ show. So I'm curious what you guys think. You can drop those in the comments. But I was watching the show. I think they did a lot of stuff right. There's some things I don't like, but overall, I thought they did a good job with it. So I'll share my thoughts, and you guys can share yours down in the comments. So first off, I think they did a good job of looking at what was working and being like, all right, we're gonna use that. This may sound like I'm ragging on them in a second, but I'm not, because when you think of martial arts, what do? We're all like sort of iterating on other people. We take ideas from our coaches, we make it our own, and then if you become a coach, your students are gonna take from you, and we just sort of do this thing where we're building off one another. But essentially, to me, just as my bearded opinion, last year the CJI sort of changed the game. Just my thoughts, right? I watched that event. I was at that event. I was skeptical at it at first. Many of you guys know that I was I don't know about this stuff. I don't know what Craig Jones is doing. Went to the event, loved it. The energy in the room was amazing. The matches were amazing. The pit, I didn't know what to think of the pit, but the pit was amazing because you then got rid of being out of bounds. There was no more out of bounds. And when you think about just watching a lot of other competitions, what's one of the worst parts about watching those competitions? Going out of bounds. And especially in jiu-jitsu where there's not a lot of stalling calls, people will back up and they go out of bounds. So you eliminated one of the most sort of action stopping things that happens, and boom, you had constant action, the pit. You then took a longer match and broke it down into smaller rounds, smart, because long matches are boring. I don't know why, the ADCC, for instance, has these incredibly long, grindy, they're so boring. They're super fights. It's just not a good idea. Shorten the time, people go faster, right? So I thought the round system was great because you're breaking up a long duration into short chunks. And also, too, you would see the momentum shift from time to time in some of the matches. And then you're doing a ref's decision, a judge's decision, which I think is a smart thing to do, because one of the things that you watch in competitions is if there's points, and again, I like points. I've competed in point-based competitions. I've succeeded in point-based competitions. But when you watch it, watch the demeanor. As soon as that thing says 1-0, in many cases, the competitor who is winning changes. All of a sudden, it's their match to lose. Now, some competitors will continue to press, but many of them will start to play not to lose. And so you eliminate that by having a judge.
All right, so Jiu-Jitsu seems like a big fan of it. If you guys want to watch the rest of that, it says thoughts on UFC BJJ. I'm going to move on. I don't know if I can play this. Got a little. Shout out to RBY. He over there. He's over at Oklahoma State. Can't play. Got music. Got music everywhere. Can't play that. IBJF. Sarah Gaval.
Especially because he's the smallest one in the middleweight division.
It's got music. 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 Can't play any of that. We're going to play a little bit of this. Bo Nickel, please don't hit me with the copyright strike, please. That might be it for today, guys. I'm starting to sweat. So let's see what... So this is for a while back. Bo Nickel had Carter Starachi on his podcast. We're just going to listen to this first part. where it says the culture and dynasty of PSU wrestling. So this is from 5 months ago. Bo Nickel been surprisingly quiet about, the stuff going on at Penn State. So
I just feel like I just always hear all their voices in my head, just like, and you get to watch them, like, it's live their life too, and just it's being a better person and things like that. And I'm just like, geez, like, these dudes kind of like really got it figured out. And so like I realized like last summer,
I wish there was a way to play it without looking. Can we do mini player? There we go.
I was doing a lot of MMA training, and because I was still healing up my knee, so I was doing like just a lot of stand up. And I'm like, dang, like, it's being at Penn State, it's like a huge blessing, but it's also like the biggest curse, because I'm just like, anywhere I go.
Oh no, you guys can't hear it. Let me go back a little bit. Oh, I got you. Why did it not work? Oh, give me 1 second. I thought you guys could hear. I'm trying not to show the video. This program sucks. Not my program, the live streaming program. Is this it? Where's the source at? Let me just pull it back where it was. All right, I'm back.
Day on my gratitude journal always.
Can you hear?
That's always up there, because I'm just like, I mean, and I don't know if you guys kind of dealt with that when you guys were getting recruited. Just like every other school, they were like, we're just saying all this baloney stuff, like, oh, we'll give you this, and just like all this stuff that. But the only school that was like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what it is. It's not like out of the rules or anything. It was Penn State.
Yep.
And like for me, I didn't grow up with like much. So I'm like in the back of my head, I'm thinking about it. So then and then I was having a hard time. And then my dad was like, why do you get up every morning? And I was like, I want to be the best in the world. And he was like, well, just only based off that. And I was like, for some reason at that moment it clicked, and I called Coach Kale immediately.
Great,
And then I was like, I like teared up a little bit, because I'm like, dang, like, maybe I made the wrong decision. You know what I mean? Like, but then I'm just like, like, thank God that like I'm here.
I had the exact same experience. It was like every other school is like
snake oil salesman,
Yeah.
like telling you this or that and crazy stuff. And, the coaches are at Penn State are like, hey, so like, you like wrestling?
Yeah.
Like, just trying to get to know you, very genuine. And I remember Oklahoma State, that was like the closest big school near me since I went to high school in Texas. And everybody was like, dude, you got to go to Oklahoma State, like blah, blah, blah. They're awesome, this or that, and winningest program. And I got there and met with some guys, and they were like, what weight do you want to go? I was like, I don't know. Like, I weigh like 175 right now, but I mean, I might end up at 197, which I ended up in. And they were like, well, it doesn't matter. You'll be the starter at whatever weight. And I was like, you got Alex Derringer. He's a 3-time national champion or 2-time national champion.
Can you guys still hear?
This weight. What if I want to go this weight? So
they're just
gonna move him around.
Yeah.
Or this guy. Like, you're not gonna make me wrestle off this guy.
Yeah.
Like, they had all Americans at like every weight, which I wasn't like worried about that.
Just the weird
but I
things.
was like,
Yeah.
so you're telling me like I just got the spot?
Yeah.
Like, this dude's not even gonna, like, that doesn't seem. It seems like you're just lying.
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't seem true. But then the coaches obviously are like, again, very genuine. Bro, the coolest moment for me when I knew I made the right decision was my official visit, the fall of 2013, I think it would have been. I came for a football game and like the weekend, and we got up Saturday morning and drove over to the lacrosse. The lacrosse stadium used to just be a big hill. Like, there was no stadium. It was just a hill. And so we got there. Everybody ran from rec over there. And I was like, I saw the coaches like ran, and I was like, dang, that's crazy. And then they did this crazy hill workout, buddy carries, buddy carry bear crawls, backwards bear crawls up this hill, sprints, and every coach did the whole workout. And I was like, damn, that's wild.
Yeah.
Like, they literally are in there in the trenches, like grinding. Like, it was Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and they're doing backwards bear crawls up a hill. Like, they don't need to be doing that. Like, and I was like, this is the right place.
Yeah.
Like, if they're willing to do that, then I trust them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was fun.
I wouldn't do that.
I remember one.
Yeah. So, Carter sound pretty chill right there, but no mention of, hey man, no trouble or anything. Let's see. Who else got a live stream where they be researching like me? I'm trying to figure out who. We got a little bit of wrestling news. Let's see, listen to one of these guys. Don't hit me with no copyright, bro.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've been starting to see a lot of news drop from the Penn State Wrestling Room and the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, and it has not been positive news overall. We saw a situation with Braden Davis, a situation with Kyle Snyder, and now we're seeing a lot of news unfold regarding Carter Starachi. And so we're going to kind of go over what we know today as of this point and what things might look like moving forward. So it was announced today that the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club will not be bringing or signing on Carter Starachi. So he won't be training with the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. He presumably will not be at Penn State anymore. And so how did we get to this point? Let's start with what the public was first brought to the public. And that was, it started with wrestling forums. Is actually where we got into this whole situation. So Sydney Bartlett, Bo Bartlett's wife, is where things begin. She posted something on social media. It was a picture of Kyle Dake, Carter Starachi, Dake getting his hand raised, and something to the effect of, "I love to see the good guys win," or "You love to see it," something like that. And so that sparked a little bit of criticism of Sydney Bartlett. It's like, why? What's your deal with Carter Starachi? Why would you say that? And Bo Bartlett comes out and puts the defense on for his wife. It's a good thing to do for a husband. And there's a lot that he says. He says great things about Penn State, and says that there are some things that I know that I can't bring to the public light, basically. And from there, we start to speculate, like what's happening here, what's going on. And so it was brought to the public's attention that there's an investigation. And who is this investigation about? Eventually, we start to find out it's about Carter Starachi, or we speculate that at least. And so, in the following weeks, things are pretty silent. As a matter of fact, before yesterday, I had kind of completely forgotten about this situation. But we start to hear, or we get this news article yesterday on the Daily Collegian, Carter Starachi had been investigated, and there are allegations against Carter Starachi of theft, of sexual misconduct, and even of rape, which is very serious. And so, if you can go read the article.
He said that. I didn't say that. YouTube.
There's
Don't come after me, YouTube. He said that.
Hone in on, and I'm going to try and keep it within the wrestling room and within wrestling, just because I think those are the things that are relevant in terms of what it means for the sport. So, the place where we'll begin is Bo Bartlett had some belongings in his locker, and it was he reported that it was $1,000 or over $1,000 worth of items, and that they had been stolen. So an investigation was launched, and even prior to that, he had gone to the coaches and said, "Hey, this happened. Other teammates have said that this has happened with Carter Starachi before. Not that Carter had items stolen, but that he had stolen the items himself," stating that there were like scooters and a pair of wrestling shoes, other items like that. And I believe the idea was said that Carter stole these items in retaliation to Bo Bartlett. And I can't remember why that would have happened. I believe it was due to the fact that Sydney had some information brought to her about Carter, and she told that to Carter's girlfriend. So Carter, in retaliation, took some of Bo's things. That's the idea, at least. And so there was an investigation launched. They pulled some security footage, and the only people to have entered the wrestling facility between when Bo last saw his items and when he reported them as missing was Carter Starachi and Tyler Kasek. They reached out to Kasek. They didn't really get any meaningful information from him. They were unable to get in contact with Carter Starachi. As a matter of fact, they've been unable to get in contact with Carter Starachi over the last 6 months. So what is happening there? I don't know. And so with that, the other interesting fact is Bo Bartlett brought this up to the coaches. The coaches said, "We'll support you in whatever decision you make." But then that's it. And so some people are saying, well, what's the deal with that? If you know that you have an athlete who has been reported as having stolen things before, well, to what capacity are the coaches responsible for that? The public probably puts them up as very responsible. You guys need to make sure that your things are in order in your ship. And so I don't know to what capacity they're responsible. I can't speak on that. But so that's one thing, and the investigation was closed, and nothing came of it. But after that, the next thing is there were teammates reporting that Carter Starachi was being a little bit more handsy with genitals and sticking fingers up butts, both on and off the mat.
So,
if
say
you're
no to
wrestling
Carter,
and,
guys.
You're going for a go behind. You reach for the near side leg, or you reach for the far.
If Carter Starachi want to party, you got to say no.
People hit oil checks in wrestling. To what degree? There's a point where it's excessive, definitely. But Bo Bartlett was I believe even said that this had been happening in front of the coaches, and the coaches had done nothing about it. And yeah, I mean, personally, if I'm a coach, things are going to happen, but after a certain point, I can say, okay, that's excessive. Like, I need to step in. And so, where is that limit for Cael Sanderson? I don't know. And yeah, so these things are happening on the mat. There's also reports of explicit photos being taken in the locker room, sent to a Snapchat group, and that this has happened a lot, and that it's been brought to the coach's attention. The coaches have done nothing. And so that's the part that is probably the most interesting to me, and probably the part that the people think about the most or want to consider the most. To what degree are the coaches responsible for the actions of their athletes? And at what point should they step in and say, hey, stop this, or hey, you need to, this reaction is necessary for this situation? I think that's probably the most interesting point here. People are saying, oh, Cael Sanderson needs to be fired for this type of stuff. Well, with the way the situation is, there is no guilt to be brought yet, because there's no crime. And so until somebody's found guilty of something, until that point, you can't really do much. If you're a coach, if you're the NCAA, if you're Penn State, no matter who you are, you have to find.
Shout out to this creator, the Barn Session Wrestling Podcast. My issue is that Bo Bartlett seemed to, do everything in his power. Let me move this. Yeah, it seemed like he did everything, tried to talk to the authorities, tried to talk to Cael. And they didn't do anything. They couldn't even find Carter Starachi. So, the whole argument of, well, we got to wait for proof. I mean, who's working in good faith over there? Like, realistically, who's working in good faith over there? Not the staff.
All right, let's
I don't know what that
take a look.
is. What was that? Yo, not the staff, not I think I put the wrong thing on there. Yeah, not the staff or anybody, the authorities on the campus. And you figured these guys would be like more gung ho to like, hey, we got a history of not doing enough when these situations occur. So, we need to jump on this, but no go. So, I don't know what to say, man. They're gonna. Penn State is a business. They're gonna cover for their athletes, their top athletes, not the regular athletes that didn't win a 5-time national championship. But that's just how it goes, man. I don't know what else to say. We got a couple more posts. And I'm going to get out of here. Again, no live stream tomorrow, guys. 4th of July, I'm chilling. I ain't going to be on the stream tomorrow. I'm going to be eating, training and eating. So let's see if I can pull this over. Let's see, article. Hopefully you guys can see. So we've been talking a little bit about Ronnie Coleman. They got an update for us. It says health update on Ronnie Coleman. You guys know the bodybuilder Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie is currently under close medical care, and while his condition remains delicate, we're encouraged to share that he is awake, aware, and fully conscious. The medical team continues to work diligently to identify the source of the infection. These infections are real, bro. These infections are serious out here. And Ronnie is undergoing 2 advanced diagnostic procedures as we write this to help determine the root cause. This is a critical period in his recovery, and more than ever, Ronnie needs our collective strength, positivity, and prayers. He's always been a fighter, and with all of us standing beside him, we know he will face this battle with the same courage and determination that has defined his life. We also want to take a moment to thank everyone for the overwhelming love and support being sent Ronnie's way. Your prayers and messages mean the world during this incredibly challenging time. We've heard from several of you asking how you can help Ronnie at this time. Ronnie's team is actively working on a meaningful way for fans to get involved. We'll be sharing more details very soon. With heartfelt thanks, the Coleman family. So, shout out to Ronnie. Hopefully he's feeling better. I'm not sure how he got that infection, but infections are real, man. That's why I'm telling you guys. We watched a video on how to clean the mats. You got to vacuum the mats, get all that gunk off the mat, spray it with the good stuff, and then mop it in and let it sit. Let it sit for a little bit. Mop it in, spray the bags, wash all your gear, your gis, your rash guards, your belts. Make sure everybody else is taking care of their stuff. So you got to create that environment. Some of these other schools, they don't have an environment of cleanliness, so that's how it spread. And then you got Gordon Ryan over there on all the antibiotics in the world. So just realize that, some of them supplements that you take, some of them supplements that you guys take, it doesn't help your immune system. So be mindful of that. We got Lucas Leitch. If you guys don't know him, he's the half guard guy. He's the Coyote half guard guy. We definitely got to do a video on him. And he says, I used to make $500 a month. I was already a world champion as a black belt. So, that's some of us still ain't making the $500 a month. PGF, they getting the some dude at PGF got $1,000 for 13 weeks. What does that work out to, Jason Whitfield? That's about $76 for 13 weeks. We'll round it 77. 77 times 4. That's about $308 a week. So yeah, some of us jiu-jitsu people out here struggling. So, try to support them, buy their t-shirt or whatever they got selling, or instructionals or whatever. Speaking about broke jiu-jitsu people, I got a seminar 13th of July. If you guys in Jersey, come through. Old Bridge, New Jersey, at Infinity MMA. Let's see what Lucas Leitch has to say.
$100 a month teaching all day. And I already was world champion and Pan-Am champion on the black belt. The message here is about what you doing, what you sacrifice to achieve your goals. In the end, you make your history, not your coach, not your team, not your girlfriend, not your mom. It's you. It's what you're gonna eat, what time you're gonna sleep, what time you're gonna drill, what tournaments you're gonna go. If you're gonna risk that sweep, even then maybe you're gonna pass your guard. It's you, bro. Nobody else. I used to make $500 a month.
You guys heard from Lucas Leitch. It's up to you, man. It's up to you. So, I give Mikey a hard time, but, Mikey made some money for himself, I'm not sure how much money he's made, but he's made a good living. So I can't knock him for that. The only issue is the fans. The fans kind of suffer. But Mikey's his bank account's doing well, but, the fans suffering. And last clip of the day, we got AP. You guys know AP. They do some cool collabs. They do like Nike collabs with shoes. I think that's a collab. I don't know. They do collabs. Oh, maybe they didn't collab on that one. Oh, they did. It's at Nike and Albino and Preto. That was a collab. So you see it's jiu-jitsu based on there. But they kind of bring it back to old school. Back in the day, you had your business card. Am I old? I remember giving people my business card. Should I make some business cards? That would be kind of cool. Yeah, I need to bring back. I kind of want a business card. That's some old school stuff. Nowadays, you're like, hey, send me your number, give me your email or whatever. Give me your Instagram. Do you guys remember giving out your business card? I feel like Jason Whitfield still got a business card, but yeah, I kind of want to bring that back. Something tangible with the number on it, little QR code, that would go a long way. Especially making new acquaintances. I mean, if you're still in business, you probably should. Maybe I should get a business. I used to have a business card, but yeah, been a long time. All right, guys, I'm gonna dip, man. That's it for today. Happy. What is this? Takedown Thursday. We didn't even look at a takedown. Let me see. Let me see if we can find a takedown for you guys. I need you guys to watch some tournament footage before we leave. I don't know if there was anything that came out recently. Let's go to IBJJF. Let's see if Mr. IBJJF got something for us. If not, we just skip for it the next time, guys. What the heck is going on over here? I was on the wrong thing. We got no takedowns, really. I think that's good, man. Everybody's off. There's actually tournaments going on. Yeah. Oh, they sent me on the guy. They have so much music. They got so much music on these things. I just can't watch it. Too much music. Music. Little lovey-dovey. Lovey-dovey.
I was kind of like...
Yeah, I can't play any of this. All right, guys, I'm done. Can't play none of the audio. Everything got music on it. That's a big reason I don't play too many videos anymore, because of the music. Jason Whitfield and everybody else, happy 4th of July. Go enjoy yourselves. Go eat. Be merry. Celebrate. That's it, man. Just stay healthy, guys. Watch out for that staph. I need to say that for myself, too. Stay uninjured. Stay healthy. That's it. Take care of yourselves. Don't party too hard. That's all I got to say, man. Yeah, I got the seminar next week, 13th of July, Sunday. we're gonna be eating at the seminar after the technique and rolling. And that's it. Hopefully get some more tournaments in, and then that's it, guys. If you guys want to support the channel, Inverted Gear. If you guys are in Europe, you might see the panda. You might see the big panda in Europe if you're out there. If you're in Scandinavia. That's it. And BJJ Mental Model, shout out to them. You know, they help make this channel work. BJJ Mental Models and Inverted Gear. And of course, you have no money, that's fine. Tell people about the live stream. That goes a long way. And that's it, guys. I'm going to dip. You know we're going to play the Inverted Gear video for sure. And I'm out of here, guys. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.